You can't scale back a lot of people when it comes to war. War means there is no rules to a lot of people.
Oh my God.
You can't tell somebody when they're fighting somebody, hey, only go 80%. Most people, out of fear of their own lives, out of fear out of their own personal safety, are going to go as hard as they can. They're not going to be able to say, this person's 80, let me give them about 75%, because that puts them in harm's way. And that's the mentality of a lot of people. A lot of people that I'm seeing when it comes to this war, and I'm seeing certain people that I may know, or certain people that I may have watched for a while, let's say online with podcasting, and their mindset is so vicious and so cutthroat. It's just because you can't scale back a lot of people when it comes to war. War means there is no rules to a lot of people. And you'll see if we play a little bit of the Tucker Carlson interview with Tony Aguilar, he's like, yo, there's rules to war. Like, you can't just do whatever you want to the opposition. He was describing how different situations and different scenarios where if somebody, even somebody who's actively in the opposing army, once they give up, you have to treat them a certain way. You have to give them food, give them water, all these different things. And then for us to have this mindset we're seeing towards the civilians who aren't even fighting, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So let me go through a little bit of the schedule. So we got a cool video from Paul Pierce talking about the power of confidence. We have a quote from, I believe, Dorothy Day. It's via Representative James Tallarico. Cool interview with James Tallarico and Joe Rogan. Then we have this possibly white shooter situation that we'll get into. We got Jason Whitlock calling out some Negro culture at ESPN, and we'll kind of tie the Shannon Sharp situation into that. Kamala Harris, apparently, well, we probably won't even get into that, honestly, but apparently Kamala Harris has decided not to run for governor. We got a funny situation with the WNBA, and then we'll get into some of the more serious videos. I don't know what order we'll go through, to be totally honest, but yeah. This is the situation that we're in. Let's get to, so I wanted to start off with, matter of fact, I'll start off with this quote. So speaking of what we're speaking of, when it comes to, Palestine and Israel. So this interesting Dorothy Day quote, and shout out to Boogie in the building, shout out to Unc, and shout out to Honest. Hope all is well. All right. So Israel, Palestine, when I'm sitting here talking about, like, you can't go 80% against your enemy, most of the time to protect yourself, you'll go as hard as you can to whatever limits you have. And this quote from James Tallarico, he recited this quote from Dorothy Day, and I believe I'm getting it correct when it says, you only truly love God as much as you love the person you love the least. You only truly love God as much as you love the person you love the least. Now, everybody can have their own interpretation on that one. Everybody can have their own interpretation on that one. This is my interpretation. You only truly love God as much as you love the person you love the least. God, to me, and I think I've said it to y'all before, represents our connection to each other. Our connection to each other. Our godly behavior is how we are all connected. A lot of people will say, well, God's children, that's how we're connected. But to me, our godliness is our connection with each other, our connection with nature, all these different things, but obviously specifically and more closely related to each other. So we can only love God. All these people that are doing all these evil acts, demonic acts, ungodly acts in the name of God, to me, it's just the greatest contradiction that you can have. Because to truly love God would obviously be to not only love what God created, but to love what God is, our connection to each other. So if we're killing other people, then isn't that the most disrespectful thing that you can do to God? Isn't that the most ungodly thing that you can do? And then you justify it by saying what? Well, I'm doing this because I'm fighting for something that God gave us. God gave us this land, so therefore I'm going to fight for it. Therefore, I'm willing to kill for it. But God also gave us each other, right? God also gave us and I hate to sound preachy because I'm not the super religious type, but from a spiritual standpoint, it's just simple. Either we're okay with death, destruction, evil, demonic actions, or we're not. And the only thing that can solve this issue that we're going through and that we will continue to go through is to not, you could sit here and say love, right? It's the oneness, us to see each other connected. We were having this conversation the other day with my big bro and big sis, Shaga and Pete. And it was kind of a depressing conversation almost. It's one of those things where you got to remind yourself, like, all right, we're in a bad place, but that means there's an opportunity for us to do some great things to get us back in the right direction. And the only solution that we could find to get people to look at things from a perspective that did not make you want to kill somebody or justify killing somebody is to see that we're all one. That's it. That was the only thing that we can come back to. The only thing, as soon as we allow the separation, as soon as we, whether it's religion, whether it's race, whether it's any other thing, as soon as we allow all of these other identities that we associate with to take precedence, and we hold those other identities in higher regards than our godly identity.
First and foremost, want to give a huge shout out to everybody that continues to tap in with us, like and subscribe and join our community. If you haven't already, please make sure that you do. We look forward to engaging in some dope combo with you that can help us all elevate. So like, subscribe, and maybe even share the video if you're feeling real generous. On that note, we'll let you get back to the video. See you soon. Ew.
Then we're just at war. We're just that much closer to war. So I thought that was an interesting quote. I'll say it again. You only truly love God as much as you love the person you love the least. And I believe that's a Dorothy Day quote, and that was via James Tallarico. So yeah, that one, that's one of those ones that I probably very challenging for, very challenging for all of us, right? Very challenging for all of us. It's a lot easier said than done. All right. Oh, shout out to Big Bro Pete in the building. I wasn't even looking at the comments. So Steve wrote, war is a place where young people who don't know each other and don't hate each other kill each other by the decision of older rulers who know each other and hate each other but don't kill. This is what it's saying, Steve. It's just like whether it's war between Israel and Palestine, whether it's war between these local street gangs, Bloods and Crips, like the head of these gangs, even if you think about it like a street gang, the head of these street gangs, they know each other. They're not the ones that are warned. They're the ones that are, putting the battery in the back of all their dojers, all their pawns that they have, and they have to convince them to hate the other side more than you hate because they're fighting for you. Whether it's sports, you think these owners hate each other? Some of them may, but they probably hang out together. All that time. I don't want to say too. Yeah, these owners, I'm sure. Think about damn, what group was I about to say? I was about to use another example of people that are, on the part of the higher ups at work. My work, right? I'll tell you an example just with my client. It's in healthcare, I don't know if y'all are aware of, but it's like real legit beef. Like, especially when you're on that soldier line, when you're on the front line, and let's say I'm a marketer, let's say. I hate that term, but the actual people who are our clients, the surgery centers, the hospitals, those people, they probably really work together, probably used to work together, but they'll convince us to hate each other. So we'll go to these seminars and it's like, literally like that's the ops over there that work for the opposing surgeries. It's like, the people at the top, they're probably chilling, spending money, like whatever. Unc wrote, hatred for a race of people is what that is pure hatred for a race of people is what that is pure mayhem. War means that there is a consistency in battle between two opposite forces. Yeah, and another thing I didn't realize. So this in this interview with Tucker Carlson and James Aguilar, he mentioned something, and I may not be getting it exactly right, but he was talking about how it's an actual war crime or a violation of some policy when you look at a group of people and you associate and attribute like terrorist, like you it's like looking at Palestine and putting them all in that Hamas bag. I didn't realize that that's actually a war crime. I mean, it makes sense. We shouldn't be able to look at Palestinians, which a lot of people are. And I mean, I'm seeing quotes like wild stuff online where it's like people have a total disregard to Palestinian life because they're acting as if all Palestinians are team Hamas or rocking with Hamas or on Hamas, a part of Hamas, however you want to look at it. So it's interesting. So let's actually pivot. I had this Paul Pierce interview pulled up, but let me kind of show y'all, since we're talking about it, and I kind of was, I guess, avoiding it a little bit because I'll tell y'all what happens. I'll tell y'all what happens. It's like in school, or it's like in any situation where can I make this analogy? All right. So Israel is clearly far more superior when it comes to the military than Hamas. And Palestine, obviously, those are civilians. So clearly, Israel, they're far more superior. That's not anything to make us, make this group a victim or to make this group out to be evil. It just is what it is. So in this current situation where it's overwhelming, the defeat that is occurring, anybody that gets involved in the situation, it's going to seem as if we're protecting the people that are losing, right? And trying to diminish the people that are winning. It's almost like a situation where you got, this is going to be a wild analogy, but you have like let's say with very wealthy people, like in a quote unquote capitalist society, when you have somebody that comes in and says, hey, we just want to make sure that it's a little more fair, we want to just make the person with all the money, they're looking at it like, yo, I don't have a problem with society. Life is good. Don't come in here. I want less government. I don't want anybody involved in me, helping me. I don't want anything because my life is up here. But the person at the bottom, their perspective is going to be a little different because they're in need of some help, perhaps. You know what I mean? Their feeling on it is like, yeah, please, somebody come in and help this because I want to change this situation. The Israelis are perfectly comfortable, the military, in this war that is going on because they're far superior than Hamas and Palestine. So now when anybody interjects or anybody calls out the obvious and says like, hey, there's a lot of civilians dying on this side, it comes across in a way to Israelis and perhaps a lot of Jewish people overall that they're being attacked because we're trying to scale them back to realize like, hey, this is getting a bit out of hand, or it's been out of hand. It's just too extreme what's going on. So let's play. I'm going to play this video. And I wanted to kind of preface, what I was saying with that, because I'm realizing that I don't know if empathize is the right word, but with a lot that's going on, I can see how I'm not surprised that people behave like this when they're at war. I'm not surprised that people behave like this when they're at war. But I am surprised that when so many people excuse the behavior, like the two people that are fighting, I understand they're going to be going at it. But the other people, the other adults in the room are supposed to step in and say, hey, this is getting out of hand. Just like it would be in a situation in our workplace, in our home, whatever it is. You see two people that are clearly bugging out and crashing out. or one person that is clearly beating the hell out of somebody, eventually somebody comes in. It doesn't even matter if that person's on your side. Like it'd be like, all right, bro, easy. Like, all right, you gonna kill them. You get what I'm saying? At what point are people going to step in and say this is enough? Because the example that I'm getting ready to show you, people are never going to police themselves. So let me stop talking. I've been it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.